Of course, of course. I was very, very elated when I saw your text message. I say, for real?
I was thinking that in the spirit of the season, we should be interviewing some arrangers and speaking to some pan connoisseurs and the people with the know-how.
Yes, I quite agree. I quite agree.
So I'm an advocate. We're starting with the biggest band in Trinidad. I hope nobody feels insulted thereafter.
No. 12-time champions, there's nothing to dispute that. You understand what I'm saying? There's no dispute up in here. You understand what I'm saying?
I think it was important to start with Desperados.
Of course.
So what we're proposing, just for anybody listening, what we're proposing moving forward is that we will have other arrangers representing other steel bands. But we'll keep that a secret until the day, or perhaps the day before. Great.
You must start with the kings of kings.
The bias in your voice there, David.
I don't care. I have business. Now, I love all of them, but Rados is my band, Papa. Hey, when it comes to pan play, extraordinary. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what we did today, and
David.
Sir,
good afternoon.
How you good, Alvin?
I'm going fine, man.
Always happier when I see you. I said today's like Christmas Day all over again, and you're like Santa Claus, bro.
Well, David, you're my partner when I want to launch my tunes. I come into you first,
Of course.
I know you'll find it on right away.
Right, true. Total local, bro.
But they need some good music, but I find they're not nothing to choose from.
Well, we go with popular music these days. You see what Rados did with More Soca and what they've been doing?
Well, More Soca is the only real Panorama tune outside here. When I say so, the only new 2023.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but
okay. We have to understand.
Yeah, we have to rock and roll with the winds of change, and I miss what you.
Yes, we have to accept that times come, different times, and they're going for.
Yeah,
some really popular songs.
The compilations that you provided, I still have them all in my library, and nobody can get them borrowed.
I'm glad to hear that because the music is out there, and I'm still getting hits from all over the world on iTunes.
Yes.
As far as New Zealand, sometimes I say, "What the people in New Zealand listening to pan music?"
What do you mean? Pan is something that we have done.
China and India.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Switzerland. When I get monthly breakdowns of where my music is.
Yeah, no, I have a problem, Alvin. We'll have to have a program based on that. Why the authorities are not allowing pan to be a massive industry. It's bigger than all the Petrotrin and all of that. They don't understand
that. The people outside more appreciative of the music we write with pan in mind.
Yes.
Than in our own country.
Yes.
Because they're looking for challenging music to play.
Yeah.
I have no problem with people playing the party tunes and some of the old vintage songs. Yeah. But at least choose one that gives you a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And we talk about that tonight.
Yes.
I mean today.
Yes. Let me know.
Somewhere, right?
Don't pull the carpet from Madame Boy Farid's mad because he'll certainly have to put on his robe and sit back. So Farid, conduct your program, my brother. I'm listening.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. It's really good to see you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you'll be lying your age, You don't look your age at all.
At all.
You don't know what my age is. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm looking at certain people around my age, and some of them are not even standing up. So
yes.
I feel good that God has blessed me in a particular way.
Of course, only He can have you look like that.
And working all day long. I just came off one class, and as soon as I'm finished with you, I'm going to teach another class.
Great.
So
well, we're really grateful for your presence. I was saying to I was chatting with one or two, and I was saying that you will be able to assist us with the technical aspect of the interpretation of what the arrangers will be saying. My knowledge and my base is in law.
Yeah, but there are still questions as the man in the street always will want to ask an arranger.
We will also need legal defensive representation for it, especially when I started bust up my mouth about this you know, progressive attitude of the government towards what I call we music and we culture, pan, calypso, the arts, everything, you know what I mean? So I don't want to start that kind of war. We'll have a special program for that. I will ask the bosses to give me leeway to that. They know me, you know. They know that I don't bend and flex when it comes to we music and we culture. Pan, calypso, you can go any part of Trinidad and Tobago and ask them about David Mc Intyre. You know, I am an advocate. I'll make a lot of noise. And you see where you have Rados in the house today? Well, boy, I'm all ears. So go ahead, Fareed.
Well, good afternoon to our viewers. Today we have no other than the Immaculate Desperados Steel Orchestra representative here. The general manager for Desperados is joining us, as well as a special treat, Carlton Alexander, better known as Xander. He will be joining us, the arranger for Desperados.
Great.
So Mr. Daniel and ourselves and Richard Noray, as he joins us soon, we will be conducting the interview and trying to interpret Desperados in the context of where they are in 2023, and perhaps tracing a bit in the dialogue or journey or their journey and their development into the steel orchestra that we know them to be. 12-time Panorama champions, and the accolades could spin off the tongue in terms of the amount of and the number of awards that would have been bestowed upon them through the years and the decades. We all associate Desperados with Clive Bradley, Rudolph Charles, and the list go off the tip of our tongues. But today, the arranger being Carlton Alexander, we will be hearing from him as to the technical aspects of their music and what would have inspired his tune of choice this year, how he feels about the Panorama competition. And we have no other than Mr. Alvin Daniel here to be part and parcel of the whole process. So we have a dream team of Carlton Alexander and Alvin Daniel. So Mr. Daniel, joining us, and who's on screen here now, it's no other than the general manager of Desperados Steel Orchestra. Perhaps we can have him introduce himself and tell us something about himself in terms of his involvement in the orchestra, his relationship with Desperados, and when it started.
All right. You hear me clearly? Everyone's hearing me clearly?
Yes, we're here.
Yeah. And seeing you.
For your viewers and listeners, my name is Kwesi Moore. I am the general manager of Desperados Steel Orchestra. In relation to your very specific questions, I joined the orchestra in 2011, some 12 years ago. And since then, I have been a roadside member, a stateside member. 5 years ago, I became part of the finance team, then eventually treasurer of the organization. And as of 2022, I became the general manager as appointed by the board of directors.
Great.
Well, congratulations on that. Tell us something. From my own readings, Desperados will soon have a new venue, a PAN theater. When would you all be occupying or taking up residence in that new venue? Because everyone is looking forward to seeing the new facility and you know.
Yeah, that would likely be immediately after the Panorama season. I know the intent was to get the band there before the season began, but unfortunately, due to the progress of work at the time, it didn't allow for that to happen. So we will be there after the season.
So
I'm going to ask a question. I'm thinking of asking a pertinent question here.
Yeah.
You have a PAN theater up on the hill, right? I've been there. And there was talk at one time that you needed to come into Port of Spain because of certain people not feeling comfortable about coming up the hill, right? And now that you are given a full-fledged theater, you want to give us a little history leading to that?
Gentlemen, before we continue, let's take that theater thing or the thing. This is that Trinity thing, you know? The Panyard.
The Panyard.
Panyard.
All right.
So,
but they call it a PAN theater, you know.
No. We have
For a good reason that we can have
this is Trinidad.
concerts there.
Trinidad and Tobago. That's okay. Panyard.
All right. Tell us a little bit about that history of the Panyard.
Yeah.
Well, in truth and in fact, the space up the hill has since developed to include an auditorium, a theater-style auditorium that I think the band has had performances in long before my time. So in some aspects, there is the element of the panyard, but there is still an auditorium that could be considered a pan theater. So it's a half truth that the reason for moving into Port of Spain, especially during the carnival season, was due to the comfort of our players, which is true. I could give you one story immediately of the back where one of our members got shot in the leg in practice up on the hill. But that is only one half of the equation. The truth and the entire truth is the band has outgrown that facility up there. If the band were to set up as how it needed to set up for Panorama rehearsals, the space up there simply cannot accommodate. Even with the renovations and the new facility that they built up there with the rooftop, I don't know if anyone has been there. But there's an entire rooftop facility where the intention was to accommodate the entire Panorama band with an elevator and everything that carried the racks up, but it simply cannot accommodate the space. That coupled with the fact that the area has been negatively impacted and there's a stigma around the area which would not encourage persons, especially foreigners and visitors to the country, to visit the space up there, which would have an impact on the band's economic activity in terms of fundraising through our main mechanisms, which are the bar, the gift shop, and then anything that we could generate revenue via having persons in the yard. So those are all the factors that really contributed into the band finding an alternative space for the carnival season and throughout the year, of course. So the comfort of the players is a main issue, but it's only part of the issue.
I always found the space that you all had up there was very magnetic, if I were to use the word. And many times I would come up and discuss with your eternal arranger, Clive Bradley,
right,
some of the things that he did, and he would listen to certain songs that he liked. And there was a particular year that stands out in my mind where he was planning to play a particular tune of mine. And then he found out that Court Slaventil was playing the same song. And he says, I don't want to overshadow them. So I will leave that with the tune, but I'll choose another tune. I was a little disappointed. But then he told me the new tune is also one of your tunes. Going with Pan on Fire.
Right.
The night that the judges were visiting the Panyard, I felt I had to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't like to see what I had to go through to reach the Panyard, because the people that were coming to the Panyard that night, I went through 2 yards where I was almost bitten by dogs to make a shortcut to get to the Panyard.
Right.
And anyhow, it is one of my most memorable nights in a Panyard. They played Pan on Fire that year with an energy. In fact, they won the preliminaries that year, although they didn't went on to win the finals. But it was a magical performance because the ambience of the people, the screaming, the shouting, when the band was introduced, I really treasure that memory of that space.
Right.
But I'll see how you'd work the new space.
Yes.
when it becomes effective.
Yeah.
What sort of pressure do you, as you're the general manager, so you're right on the pulse of what's happening with the steel band, with Desperados. What sort of pressure do you all feel when you're coming into a new season, in terms of the music you have to put out there? What are some of the factors that would have contributed towards choosing a song and that sort of thing?
There's a different level of added pressure when you're defending champions. And even more so when you're defending champions after 2-year hiatus of the Panorama. Everybody is gunning for you and you feel it. You feel it in the atmosphere. But we are undaunted. We are confident in the choice of song that we've selected. Long Live Soca by Aaron Boyce and Louis. A lot of people would hear it and think this is made for Pan. You would have realized that a lot of bands initially selected that song. It was reported at one point in time that 7 or 8 large bands had selected the song or were looking at the song. Since then, and since the passing of Dr. Leroy Kali Stalin, the paradigm has since shifted a bit. But the choice of song comes about, it's sort of a collaboration, but really and truly our arranger Mr. Carlton Xander Alexander, who just arrived, by the way, so I know we have that portion of the interview to get. He has to get a certain energy from a song, and that has been his process for the past 5 years since he's been associated with Desperados for Panorama specifically. And he tells the story of him praying to the creator for a song, and one member of our orchestra
seem to have lost connection there for a while.
Just
It's a bit of movement, but
let's hope that he comes on again.
Well, just to put in a 2 cents in the meantime, it was one of the first songs I heard for 2023.
Good.
Oh, here he's coming back.
Mr. Moore, you're back with us. There was a slight break in transmission, if you were to put it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what's the last thing you heard there.
Him praying to the Almighty for a song.
Right, and when he got a call from one of our committee members to inform him about this song, he said, "All praises be to the Creator." And I said, when you have such a synergy or such an alignment between arranger, song, and dare I say spirituality, you have an energy that is developed into the song, into the rehearsals, into the performance that is unmatched. So we look forward to 2023 to defend after, as I said, 2 years of no Panorama. And we really look forward to the competition this year.
I think the production of this song, what I liked most about it, it was definitely structured with pan in mind.
Yes.
And,
yes.
People have this term of a pan song. And I never really liked the term. I like to say music with the pan in mind.
Right.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to say pan, but it's how you structure it in terms of the chordsing and in terms of the melodic lines that you provide, and also the theme.
Yes.
They don't judge thematics in Panorama, but actually, if you watch some of the presentations, it's the theme of the song determines the way the panmen dress.
Right.
The way the energy of the music is displayed and presented. So, long live soca. The theme is clear. How Xander is going to work the song. So I think it's a fantastic choice. I love the tune. I love the music. I love the way voice executes his lines. The lines are never staccato. They always give you a little extra at the end that you can do nice things with. And I'll be happy to hear what Xander has to say about his choice and his plans for the tune.
Mr. Moore, maybe at this time we could incorporate Mr. Carlton Alexander into the dialogue. He may be sharing the screen with you, unless he's appearing in his own right.
He will sit here next to me. So just give me 10 seconds to get him in, right?
Yeah. But Mr. Daniel, whilst we are waiting the presence of Mr. Alexander.
Alvin, I appreciate how you defined what people term as pan songs. Pan can play anything. And,
of course. In fact, I had one song that was called that. You should know.
I know. So I'm glad you made
it play anything
clear. Yes, I'm happy that you did that.
Yeah.
Because, but the tune of choice these days, like you said, we don't have those sort of melodic selections as before. So it's amazing what these arrangers do, especially a man like Xander, who is a musician par excellence, within the jazz feel and things. So I can understand what's going through his head, and then I just wait for his execution. Right. So is he ready?
Well, at this point in time, he went to say his prayers. As you may be aware, he's of the Islamic faith. He's a Muslim, so he is praying currently. As soon as he's finished, he'll come and join.
Yes. I appreciate that, because I worked with his brother a lot, and the same thing applied to his approach to whatever he does. And you have to respect that.
Yes.
Talking a little bit more about the choice of tunes for this year. Yes, there has been, I would say in the last 5 years, a trend towards choosing party tunes. And one can understand that that has come about because of the popularity of certain songs.
Right.
And not only that too, but I think some of the composers were actually introducing some nice melodic lines in their party songs, and even more chord progressions, so that you find that the pan men picked up quickly that these would make great tunes. And I mean, it's like Far From Finished and so on, as you know, which Zander was attracted to. There was a little bit more than the average party song offered. Zander, good afternoon.
I know him.
Yeah, he said good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's happening, Alvin?
I'm good. How are you keeping?
Yeah, absolutely keeping.
Oh, after God, keeping well. Praise God, you know. Just keeping the vibe, you know.
Well, we want to see if we can get you talking about what's happening on the scene leading into this panorama. We're talking a little bit about the tune of choice that you made. Perhaps you'd like to share with us. And I know you put a lot of time and thought into a choice of tune. I remember in the past, sometimes you'd call me and say, Alvin, you have anything at all to play with?
Yes.
Right? And you would listen. And it doesn't mean because you call me, you would choose my tune, but you wanted to spread your wings in terms of choice. So tell me about your choice of tune this year.
Well, the song that I chose this year, and well, together with me, Desperados, we choose Long Live Soca by Voice. Okay, so well, I must say that I prayed for such some that to have some kind of continuity and something that is you know what I'm saying? And how it happened. I remember there's some in the committee who called me one morning and said, Mr. Zander, I just heard a voice song. I said, oh, send it to me. Let me hear that song.
His audio is freezing.
That was that sent you into a signal, you know? So, I think what has happened is that I will go back and say that African music was never verse, bridge, chorus. It was always call and response, or call and answer. So when I heard the song, I'm hearing that type of thing, and I always following up voice. I follow him up and I see where his direction is going. And that's the song that I feel that has the potential of development. So that's where we are right now, down the road.
Well, as you said that, it reminded me of something. I was one of the adjudicators of the Miami Carnival last year, and a lot of the bands went for out and bad. But I thought that they missed a significant aspect of what Voice put out. In the background, the instruments were playing an old-time love way, and they never used it in their arrangement. And I thought they didn't pay justice to the song. They just kept playing the rhythmic part of it, the out and bad, over and over. And here you had, threading through the song, the horn lines playing the traditional melody that could have led you in a beautiful direction from a development point of view. And so I am really amazed that you have picked up that Voice is actually paying tribute to traditional calypso in some of his compositions in a fresh way. And I can see what you can do with it when you think along those lines. Can we Was that force you to let out some of your secrets of where you are going with this song?
I didn't say that again. I didn't hear you better than
that. You need me to repeat something?
Yeah, repeat what you said, Alvin.
I'm saying that voice seems to have found a way to incorporate traditional melody in a modern way. And I feel that aspect of the song is something that you might want to pull out and use in your developmental work.
Yes, so you're right about that. What I'm saying is that what I really that voice has done, which is just, I just said, take a lot of the, it's laugh way. You know,
Right.
It's like saying, get something and wave. It's the same thing. You jump up. But how you put it together, and if you're expecting some chorus to be after the bridge and all of that, there's no bridge. There's no bridge.
Call and response.
You know? As I said earlier on, African music really was never about verse, bridge, chorus. Okay? That's a whole English system. It was Sandy Manite, you call and you respond.
Right.
You know?
In fact, a guy would go through a shantwell.
I like. You know?
In the old days, a shantwell would go through the street and he would sing one line and then the whole chorus with the people following him would sing the same response each time. And that is how African music came to the streets. So what you're saying about call and response is correct here.
Not hearing you guys at all.
All right, you need to make sure that you have your volume up on your side. What are your impressions of the structure of Panorama with the number of different categories that we have today? We have large, medium, small, single pan, then we have juniors, then we have school bands, and it's spread out now from almost October going into November. What do you feel about that progression that we're going through?
Some technical problems there. If we could leave the meeting and join back to see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may have to log out and log back in to get a fresh.
Give me 1 minute.
I need to hear exactly.
Mm-hmm. You know, Alvin, the first time I heard that out and bad,
right,
I was so blown away. I said voice is like a breath of fresh air, because what you're calling the laugh way, I like to call it the tantana. You know?
Right, the tantana is that trend.
Yeah.
Hearing the old time music behind.
Yes,
and
yes.
I am listening and I'm saying, where are they playing it?
Yeah.
It's not, and it's a beautiful thing, because while the tenor is running the front of the tune, you could have the middle pans playing that behind. That would have been so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, the tune sounded monotonous because they did not include that.
Yes. Xander is back with us.
Yes. Let's see if we can get a stronger
signal.
Yeah.
Xander?
This time around, Xander, let me hear your voice. Let me hear what your speech.
Just hear and see there.
Okay, but I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, it's sounding a lot better this time.
Nice and
Right,
clear.
okay.
All right, what are your impressions of all these categories they're having now? I know at one time you used to be the small band champion when you were based down in Deep South. What do you think of the large, medium, small, single band? Then you have the juniors and the school band separate on 5 categories.
Well,
is it a good thing?
No, I don't see anything wrong with it. If they have to find a structure in it. I think it's a good idea to keeping the young people doing things, you know. Young arrangers, you know, a lot of talent. So I don't see anything wrong with it. Just have to find a way of how things overlap, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of having the single band, the small band, and I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I see the continuation of young musicians developing themselves, you know, from a musical point of view, you know.
And what are your feelings, though, about the style of arranging, which seems to be more rhythmic than melodic?
Yeah.
In fact, some bands have even dropped the use of iron inside of the band, and the tom-toms and the tumbas seem to be taking over the rhythm section. How do you feel about that trend?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you remember, okay, you see there was a big growth in the rhythm, what do you call it, rhythm section. And when I begin to look at when this started to become more prominent, the rhythm section thing, you know, with just the iron and the drum and things like that, you know. Listen, one of the things about music, or let's say the way, again, going back to the African way of looking at it, they look at rhythm, melody, and harmony, right? As opposed to melody, harmony, and rhythm. The first thing you think about is rhythm, you know, and then you harmonize. I think they will get there. They will get there. And then right now, the young arrangers, they're doing interesting things. I listen to everything. You know. They will get there in time in terms of knowing how to interpretation, getting the right type of voicings. But the rhythm comes first. And I think that the young arrangers, they're doing fine. They're doing pretty fine.
Do you think that they need some coaching in use of the iron? Because some of them just don't seem to be able to deal with it. Or they're not understanding the tradition of use of iron in steel pan.
Right. Okay. So what is happening, I remember some time ago, is that they don't know how did iron come in the play there in the history of, let's say, steel band or development, right? It's the same trio of drums. You had the bass, the cutter, the bass drum, the fuller, and the cutter. So when they took away that from us, and you know, I remember that those days they took away that because in the steel beating a drum they're on here. So that now transferred into the steel band. But the young players and they don't know where how did that come in to steel band. So their attitude to it, or they wouldn't have the right direction of it. Like double iron. The fellas are playing one iron, and I remember my friend DC's Bradley would say, how could you get a double song from one iron? So what they get is a wingy, 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 wingy. You know, that kind of a thing. So they need to know that where it came from and what, you know, how did that take the place from the drum? Like the bass iron, the middle iron, the cotton iron, which is the same thing they had in the African drum. Bass drum, the fuller, and the cutter. So
there needs to be an education about that, because I don't think some of the younger bards coming up have an appreciation for what you just said. There are three sections that need to be duplicated and which will form. In fact, I heard someone playing on a tumbas or a tom-tom, an exact duplication of what the tenor pans are playing. Is that desirable?
No. That's what I'm saying. No, that has to do with knowing the function of a rhythm section. They don't know. And I say that came from that when the rhythm section can take over with the big bass drum, make it, you know, and a lot of iron and a lot of thing, and it's just, you know, and that whole thing transfer into this steel band. And this is I think that is where the discipline to know is an orchestra, and you know that you're accompanying, and everything has colors and where you come in, you know. So they have to know that. They have to be taught that. You know?
Again, coming back to the tune by voice, how would you spread his music through the band, given all the different instruments that you have?
Well, as I say, is love way, right? So spreading it is again rhythm, melody, and harmony. You know, rhythm, melody, and harmony. How you spread it? is interpretation, interpreted what he said. He said it clearly. He talking about jump up. In Super Blue talk about jump up. He talk about take out your rag. And Shadow talk about take out your rag.
Right.
And the whole mouth music thing at Kitchener, you know? That is really meat of really the thing is, but you as an orchestrator know how to be sensitive to where the center of that song is. You know? I
remember a particular song by him where both you and Renegades played it. Was it Love? Something with love.
For Love.
Oh, Yeah for Love.
Yeah.
And my feeling of interpretation was that they went for the fire and you went for the love. It was two different moods that you all focused on. And that is where sometimes two arrangers will hear the same song and yet focus on a different aspect that they glean from it.
My interpretation of that was I remember DC's Pat Bishop. The instrument have to say what it is. And that was the interpretation. Was bullets passing, the rhythm of the lines in them was really expressing that. It wasn't about maybe one of my good partner get killed and I'm trying to get emotional about it. What is I talking about the instruments must say what it is happening, must interpret what Yeah for Love. That's what he's saying. And the instruments had to say that. You know?
What are your thoughts about the options that you had this year? Is there a decline in people writing music with the PAN in mind?
Oh, well, okay. When I waited and watching and
a bit of audio problems again.
We had a little
glitches with the audio. Yeah, it happens sometimes when the internet is unstable.
Yeah.
Listening, and then when I heard this one, I said, "Well, that's it. I'm not concerned about whether if it's a verse, and some people might say long. What long? It is same. The minister he did this song, like what 3-4 minutes. The same thing. So it's how we structure it that show off a lot of people. I want to know where the chorus is. What do you want to know about the chorus? The chorus is, if you understand it in that way, you call and answer, oh yeah, yo. Matter of fact, we did that in 2016, Desperados. Oh yeah, yo, we did that.
Right.
That same
Every
thing
little part of the song can be used. Every little part of the song can be used.
That's what I'm saying.
Out of the arrangement itself.
That's right. Is your level of orchestration what you want, your interpretation, how you interpret it, and then the instruments, the voice to say what it is, to bring out the color.
Someone postulated that it may be a good idea to have one serious panorama and stop the division between large, medium, and small, and focus on having the ultimate winner be such a high level that that person could deserve a larger prize and also the recognition of traveling throughout the world as the champion band from Trinidad and Tobago, so that winning the Panorama is more meaningful in terms of what that band achieves at the end of the day. What are your thoughts on that?
And that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I've not really think about it in that way. That's not a bad idea at all. Yeah. I still like the idea of the youths, though. Yeah. I still like the youth. I want to see a development coming from the youth.
Well, I want to put it to you that a lot of the youths that played at the Junior Panorama are also already playing in the large bands.
No, I guess that's too far. When I come in. Okay.
So, again, are we being fooled into believing there are a lot of people playing pan when there's really just a hard chord that moves from section to section to section and from band to band to band? We keep hearing this guy is playing in 8 different bands. The next one is playing in 6 bands. And we see them. And they take off a jersey and they put on the next jersey and they come back on with another band. Yeah. Is that good?
Well, I have not really went into that depth to see whether that's good or not. That kind of that area, I can kind of keep my focus out of that. Really.
It's a ticklish area because you have to look at it from one point of view that the guy has the talent to learn a lot of different tunes. Yeah. And it is really something special that he is able to do.
Yeah.
But if the intent of having all these categories is to encourage more people into playing pan, especially young people, we need to really check to see whether we are just satisfying a small cadre of players who just move from section to section, band to band, and not really attract a lot more into the whole panorama effort.
Yeah, but that to work that out, really and truly. Let them work that out.
If I'm to interject here, gentlemen,
yes,
I think that what PAN Trinbago as the governing body, or even by extension the Ministry of Arts and Culture and things, I think that is happening because of remuneration. I mean, these guys, they are professional players, if I should put it like that, highly talented. They've got the dexterity to play in different bands and the retainers. Remember, to retain all these different arrangements, you have to be very special in listening and to execute. Now, the thing about it is the hard work that these players put into pan play and practice and things, it is not rewarding. So you'll find them jumping from band to band. If they should understand that the players, let's say of Desperados, should be staying with Desperados and not jumping helter-skelter, they should be paid in a particular kind of way at that professional level so that it can be sustainable. And I think what is happening now, if they should look at PAN as that global influence for young people as musicians, because Trinbagonian players, most of them cannot read music. And to have that kind of retainance, that is extremely special. And I think they should respect that and pay these players a sort of, let's call it a salary or whatever you want to call it, so that they can say, well, I'm comfortable here. And my salary, I don't have to be jumping from band to band to band to band to band to band, because I don't want to say what the figure is on air. I don't want to be rude. I work with PAN Trinbago as a voice and all of that. But I think that is the problem where that is concerned. So I wouldn't point fingers at the youth or anything to say, well, it's not good for the PAN in general. I think they should start having these people paid a decent salary, because they are the ones that take PAN to the world. And no matter where PAN is in the world, the origin is here, and we are the maker of that. And I think they should be highly respected and paid in the same form, so that if I'm comfortable knowing that I'm working for X amount of dollars as a supreme player or a specialized player, I think we would avoid that band-to-band jumping thing. These youths, they have a lot of ambition, and they are looking for something decent. I mean, what they offer the youths per pan, I mean, that is like potato chips. That's like potato chips. And if Mr. Zander knows that the bunch of players he have, now I say Desperados have a bunch of players with a dexterity of a difference, and if they are paid, I mean, understand what I'm saying, pay them as the value of what they give to the world and the joy they bring to the world. They won't be jumping from band to band to band. What they offer them is it's appallable. I say it's appalling to see that is what they offer the PAN players, and only for Carnival. Only for Carnival. So, Alvin, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to pretend or give the impression that I am upset that that is happening. I'm just saying that there is a reality that this is happening, and we have to understand what is the cause, as you have pointed out, and what measures can be taken to ensure that these special players are respected for what they can do and paid accordingly. It's like if you have a construction company and one person can do certain things that the others cannot do, they will be paid more, right? Maybe somewhere along the line, we have to start thinking about grading players. This is an A-class tenor, right? As opposed to another one who is now learning it and maybe classified a little bit lower and know that for that grade, you have to pay the person accordingly, you know? And let's face it, you know, Xander, that you have your section leaders and you could just give them, within 5 minutes, they have it and they go and teach another 10 people what to do. Without those section leaders that catch it quickly and able to play it the way you want it, it's more difficult to address the entire band. So I'm just saying that this is an area that needs some attention.
Yeah, matter of fact, we do that right here.
So you grade your players?
Eh?
You grade your players in Desperados?
We have the same thing we just spoke about there. We do that to our section leaders right here.
That is a great point.
The Desperados take care of those players.
We acknowledge those players that have an advanced ability to capture the music from Xander in a short time. And we remunerate them accordingly. They don't get treated as
no, they're not going to they're not running to no other place to play because they are well treated by you.
Right, yes, and they are dedicated core. And work with Xander throughout.
Right, sure. Right. Every day.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's I think where all the steel bands should be heading in terms of saying, I have a contract with you to play with us, and I'll pay you according to be devoted to my band.
That happened.
That's just another point.
Maybe the single part and things like category. Yeah, that doesn't happen in Desperados, and I think All-Stars on those bands. Not in phase 2. No. So,
you have any general comments about how PAN is being adjudicated at present and anything that you think should be done to improve the way it is assessed, the music and the grading that they use and so on? Are you pleased about that, or do you think that there are certain things need to be done in that area?
I mean, okay. Look how much music has been done, PAN music has been done over the years in Trinidad. And then I wonder, what are they teaching in UTT? Do they have this song transcribed and teach from in that context? Like, for instance, when I was studying with Barry Harris in New York, I realized that they have all these songs that say Sarah Vaughan, and he will go to the blackboard and say, look how Sarah Vaughan has done this note. Look where she was and look where she did. And look what the piano player did, right? That is the knowledge they need to go. That is the way they do. If you ask how many songs transcribed, you know, in my house, I don't know. Rebecca, I don't know. And you're going on the road, you know what I'm saying? And this is what they used to teach. I don't know if that would do up in you.
Well, in the 90s, I was with a group that did some transcription of music. I was the one who was computer literate and know a little bit about music. And we had people like Jocelyn Seeley, I had Eamon Hector, and Robin Foster. He was our recording person. And what we would do is get the different sections of the band to play their individual component, and then we would put it together and mix it so that we could score the music. And we made sure that we got a minimum of 6 different sections of the band to play, sometimes more. And it was interesting to look at the music and see how it rose and fell. And when we analyzed the chording that the arrangers put over and above what the original tune had, we started to appreciate how much work you all were doing.
Yeah, I think Robert Ganesh, I think Fire, one of them songs was scored out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did I'm Not Drunk, was called Trini, and a couple of them we did in Deltones. Yeah, this lady was from France. She flying from France and go inside, comes to Paris and go and transcribe the music, man.
Yeah, well, foreigners are fascinated with the music, you know.
Something where I was doing this similar rhythm concept like Bach. Yeah. She showed me in the score. You know what I'm saying? So okay. So you need to take that and teach from that.
I remember working with Orville Wright.
This, I learned big chords and all of that, you know.
I remember working with Orville Wright, and he was listening to a Bugsy arrangement, and he suddenly got very excited and said, "Bugsy not supposed to know that. That is of the era of Beethoven and Bach."
Yeah.
And, you know, because he understood, he knew enough classical music to recognize the progression that was being used. And he said, Bugsy can't know that. How did he do that? How did he fashion that ending?
Yes, it's the same thing. I mean, when she told me that, I can't remember her name. Akinola has more that. Akinola used to do all the administration things, the call of people and that. So, but when I know I was there in the room with her, and she said, "Xander, you know a lot of stuff about Bach and Beethoven and them doing it. You're rhythm here." She says, "All right." I don't know. You know, because even those guys' music was not Bach and them was transcribed late in the 14th century. The
exactly.
The artist cannot be, and you cannot write and at the same time. You most of the time you see let's say a fake book. You see composed by Hubianka, transcribed by someone, you know, because as an artist, you don't have time to do that. To sort of go 1 and 2 and that.
The first time I heard you play the piano, I was very impressed because I always thought your brother was the better pianist, but I think you might have an edge on him. But tell us about your knowledge of that instrument and how it transposed to your arranging of pan.
As a piano player?
Yes.
I just use it as a guide because I mean a steel band is a piano horizontally, you know, just stretch out. I know when I'm doing my stuff, I know where the 4-pan is, I know where the guitars are, I know which part the seconds is, whole tone, minor thirds, you know, tenor pan, cycler fifth. So I'm watching it when I'm voicing and seeing it. I'm seeing exactly where they are. Now, in terms of tonality now, I get used to the tone of the instrument, the color of the instrument, and that's another story. Just like if you say, let's say Quincy Jones he know that saxophone player, but he write for saxophone because he study it. You know what his saxophones can do and what he cannot do. The same thing with the instrument, with the pan, you know. So I use it as a guide.
Well, I am looking forward very much to see.
It's not boom, it's bang. You know, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's bang, 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 bang. You know, it's not boom because my man coming from the Western instrument, bass guitars and all that. So I train myself not to say. You know, when I give Chrissy, I know it's bang, bang. I get it, not boom.
One of the aspects of Desperados is tonal quality.
Yeah.
So who does the maintaining of that beautiful, rich tone these days?
Well,
Maybe your president might have come in here.
Yeah, committee, and of course, I always like Butch. He's not too well now. Desperados come from a very strong to the instruments. It was very strong. I remember. I mean, and look, I didn't get to meet Bertie, Mrs. Bertie. I didn't get to meet him. I always wanted to meet him. Look, the double tenor is still unorthodox. Double tenor is still not in. You can't see it as I don't know for now. What do I know? You can't see it in minor tones. You can't see it in major tones. You can't see it, but the tonal quality of it. That's what makes the double tenor. You know. So the Desperados always keep maintaining. As I always say, one of my challenge was to maintain Desperados quality of music, voicing, things like that. I'm still working at it.
Your humility is very admirable.
Yes. Yes,
Thank you so much. I appreciate your input today, and I really, really look forward. I know I'm based in the United States, but but the technology now, I know exactly what's going on in the music, because it's out there to be heard on the internet. And one of the things that I think needs to be improved, and I must give a little kudos here to WAC, although they're taking the same feed maybe as other people, they make an extra effort to what we call mix the music that is heard. And listening from up here on what we'd call a song system that allows you to hear the bass and the middles more clearly. The PAN sounds fantastic this way, I'm telling you. And I miss Trinidad a lot because of that. And I'm really looking forward to hear your interpretation of the song.
When I get to know us, when he called me and then he's connected to Alvin Daniel, I said, all right, I know. Then he said, I said, all right, I know. But because as you said, we've gone through this for many years. When he was down in Diego Martin down there, he's coming by you and to get something done. So you have an idea. Well, you know what the kind of things I was doing. So this conversation could be good, because I know you're watching the song I choose.
And funny enough, one of the things I try to do as a commentator is to first talk about the choice of song and what it offers to the arranger. I feel that is very important. And it helps the listener to understand what is being done, because unless you have a good understanding of what the song offers in terms of tonality, in terms of range and chord structure and so on, and even a 2-chord song can have a lot of chord work in it, because it's what you fill in.
That's very right. This is why Barry Harris used to say he never liked the idea of chord. When you write F sharp minor 7 on a chart, Barry Harris said he liked the idea of the time with Charlie Parker and there was no chord right F minor 7. You know what I'm saying? It was just a scale, just a note. So you don't have it widens your harmonic knowledge as opposed to lock you into this F minor, you know what I'm saying? I remember I did have somebody, I went to Toronto before, and I did not piano player. I said, okay, there's an E minor 7 here. Now, but if you move the bass and put the bass, what it becomes from previous start. So it's a rhythm, think about the lines. And I did a song when I was very, about 18. The song I like me car so. Then I was 18 years. And I say the same thing coming to past songs.
Right.
I John Big Holy. I did that song with the Shakari. John Big Holy. So you see the same color for me. So the ball, man. Yeah. Alvin.
Yes.
I gotta go back and get cracking.
All right. Well, no. I know that this time it's really putting in the hours, getting the rehearsals, and you must have some music in your head you want to get out and you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
I was talking to some children in a class today, and I said, when you're dealing with music, certain things come to your head even while you're sleeping. And you don't want to lose it when you get up, because that is magical. If you play with it too much, you forget it.
Yes.
So you're not going to hold you back. Go and do your thing. And we look forward to your magic.
Keep in touch.
Thank you. Definitely. I still have your number, so we can talk directly sometime.
Sometime I'll be up in Miami too.
All right. When you come up, you must let me know, man.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Keep good. They go guide you.
Yes.
All right. Blessings.
That was fantastic. I mean, what the focus on arranging and the Trini style impact, I think that is magical, and that was mind blowing to the tourists and the people who know about the Bach and the these big time musicians. So I see them Alvin, you too, when in the Savannah, some of them who come here as tourists are ace musicians, and they play in a big orchestras and thing, because I do commentary just like you from the Pantry and the bigger
Right.
point. And the Jumbie, like he said, just take you, and I will go and catch them in some conversations all on the side of the stage, and they will tell me they play in some big orchestra and they cannot it's mind blowing. In other words, the Trini way of putting it forward. So I appreciate those questions and the discussion. Alvin, we must do this again, and I think after Carnival is the perfect time when there won't be the Carnival rush in the minds. You see,
Well, I'm hoping to do some commentary on visually through WAC.
Yeah.
I mean, hope to start from the semifinals.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to I've logged into all the shows and in fact, I will tell you this, I was more impressed with the junior bands than even the single and the small conventional.
Yeah.
Those junior bands really put down some music.
I tell you, I was.
I'm not joking. I mean, the top 5 was like a real panorama.
Yeah,
I'm not joking, and not being.
If the commentators did not say this is the national junior panoramas, you'd have felt that it is national.
You were watching the finals of a panorama.
Yeah, of the mature and bigger players. If they didn't keep saying that, you'd have been puzzled. But
and those children are playing some runs. I tell you, at the speed they chose.
Yes.
The dexterity was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Farid has your number. I would link up with Farid and get your number, and we'll have some further discussions on this after Carnival.
I look forward to that, David.
Of course, Alvin. Farid, tell you how to pour the romance sit down on the bar, though.
I don't know my place.
You like the guys who go off and change your jersey and to come back on you. You have about 10 jerseys behind you.
Yeah. All to you, Farid.
Farid plain white jacket, black jacket.
Listen, you better get a package and send up for me so I could put them on too.
Fantastic, Farid.
Mr. Daniel, we have the captain of Exodus Steel Orchestra with us now. Perhaps we could go right into our discussion with her.
That's a good old friend of mine.
Good afternoon, everyone.
As ever.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome.
It's great that you could join us, and thanks for your willingness to share with us. So we have Mr. Daniel here, whom you would have recognized, and Richard Noray is with us also. So we just want to get into a discussion of Exodus, and in terms of the material you all have for the season. Maybe you could introduce yourself to us. I know you're the captain of the band, and tell us something about where Exodus is now in terms of in the midst of their preparations and so on, and the tune of choice.
Okay, my name is Julie Williams. I am the captain of the Republic Bank Exodus Steel Band. For our Panorama 2023 selection, we have chosen Tourist Lego. At the moment, we are coming to the close of the arrangement to prepare for the 1st of February. So we are more or less just have an ending to put on with an introduction. So we are I will consider to be in the heat of the arrangement.
Okay.
First question.
Yeah.
Farid, you go ahead, please.
I have one question before one burning question. I would like to hear from Exodus themselves. Is Exodus a Tunapuna band or is it a St. Augustine band? Because the borders between Tunapuna and Exodus and St. Augustine is so fine that there are Tunapuna people who say that that's a St. Augustine band. And St. Augustine people say this is not a Tunapuna band. So maybe you could clear the air today.
Read, you're a lawyer by profession. We are both. We are on the border.
You're a politician. And you're a politician.
But you know that
we are on
Exodus
the border
started
because we are considered to be a St. Augustine band because, as you all may know, we came from St. John's Road. So that there's always that feeling of belonging to St. John Road. And then there are a number of players who are from the Tunapuna who came across as well. And if you look at where we are located, just on the banks of the river can be considered being in Tunapuna. But I will make it nicely for all of you gentlemen. We are Eastern Region Band.
The majority of the original band came from UWI St. Augustine.
No, it came from Gay Flamingos, the original band.
Originally Gay Flamingos, but a lot of players from the university joined the band.
Yes, but the original players are not. So you need to correct that.
Gay Flamingo, we know that. We know about the Gay Flamingo too. Okay. I'm not going to fight you on that, Judy. Julie. And my daughters will be pleased to know I was chatting with you.
And please tell them, give them my regards.
Okay. Question number 1. Why a vintage tune?
Because at the time, because how our Panorama process is done, since the Pan Tobago opened the rules that a large band can now go with any song once it has not been played in a Panorama competition, and we thought let's explore. So what we do, we would have chosen different songs, like 5 songs to learn, and then whichever one, well, say in Pan Man's language, we got the 5 song was more responsive. That's the one that we have selected.
So you're saying that this song was never played in Panorama?
We never played
the band must never have played.
And the rule this year is that a large band can play any song of choice once that particular band has not performed the song in a Panorama competition. So Exodus has never performed
No, I know that for sure. But it has been played by other bands before.
Yes, but not by Exodus.
But I must say, I think it's an excellent choice. It's one of my favorite compositions. I think it has a lot of variety. I think it has a lot of excitement. And is Pelham going to be working with you all?
Yes, well, BB,
along with
it's a combination. It's being led by BJ. Pelham is the musical director. So, of course, when BJ puts on the music, he will listen, he will review. And we also have Can Cordis, who is the drill master.
Wow. Powerful stuff. 3 very good people there. I can say that one is going to give you the excitement, and I know Pelham is going to give you the variation. He's going to make sure you use the right keys that you transform to, and he's going to tell you, we ain't putting enough harmony there, and I want some more melodic development, I want some more thick, and he is going to give you the works. I'm looking forward to it. This one is powerful. This one is deadly, if I may say so.
You are spot on, Alvin. Spot on.
Well, it's my job to observe and reflect and analyze and see what you all are doing. What instrument are you playing now?
I'm playing the 3 cello still.
That's an interesting band, and that is one of the instruments that really gives you the harmony. How many 3 cellos do you have in the band?
We have approximately 14.
Oh, that's a lot of harmony. That's beautiful. Not many bands have that amount of music coming out at that level, the cellos. Invaders used to be known, and maybe that's where Pelham get his history from. You know, the sweetness of Invaders' cellos on a Juve morning, you could hear it for miles, right? Exodus has been considered a very disciplined, a very well-rehearsed band. Some people may even say they're a little too analytical. How do you respond?
Yes. Discipline is what you may need to carry you forward. So if you're saying that we are a disciplined band, to me, that is a positive. In terms of being maybe too analytical, that's subjective. So there may be some reasoning of some good content with that. So we will take those views and take it with an open mind. So they are good comments. So I will say...
No, when I say analytical, it could be interpreted both ways. If you're too analytical, it means you need a little bit more flair. You may need a little bit more creativity. Do you think that is true for the band, or that's a misnomer?
That's a tricky question. That's a tricky comment. But I'll go back to when you describe our power team earlier in this conversation, and I will think that combination of the power team could override that statement, because in that combination, you have the elements of the creativity, the one that may be too rigid on the line, and then we have the young co-hosted. So based on what we have now, I think that statement can be somewhat discounted.
So it might be something that the band has maybe internally responded to, and now today, in fact, in the last few years, they have broadened and put a lot more creativity. I go back to their first victory, Savannah Party, and you might find this hard to believe. And that night, it was Splav, Splav, Waddle, right? He used to be on my right-hand side, red-skinned guy, and myself. And I believe it was, I'm trying to remember the name of the TTT person, was the anchor. And both Splav and I said, this band is winning the Panorama and people don't realize it. we actually predicted the victory, but there wasn't that really type of response on the night that would tell you that band is already won it. But we felt, when we heard the arrangement and the analysis of the arrangement and all the things that were put into it, that the band had won the Panorama easily. Two of us thought it. And I had the pleasure of scoring that piece of music. And when we came up in the yard and we recorded it, you were there. And when I looked back at the music and the way the notes flowed through the thing, I said, but Pelham is a genius. It was really magical to look at the music. And we were talking earlier about the importance of scoring some of these Panorama arrangements. Are you musically literate, and can you appreciate that?
I am, to a limited degree. I've only done up to grade 3 because music is not my forte. I studied marketing, and so I am not a musical person to that extent, but I did do, just because of the fact when Pelham comes to the pan yard, I do our tunes for stage side, he comes to the music scored. So there's a number of us who may not be at the level of Pelham Monday, but we took it upon ourselves to have some degree that we can able to at least read a score for us in our section. Mature ones like myself.
Are you one of the section leaders? I expect
no, that has gone on to my daughter is, and another guy. I have passed on that battle.
But you used to
have young players who are quite capable, and they do a good job, and it's good to expose our youths, to give them responsibility that they can grow, and of course the band can grow as well. I think
we're witnessing a new era where the young people are very, very, I would say, vocal in the steel band, very much willing to show their prowess. What is your experience with some of the young people coming into the pan world during the last couple of years?
And from an excellence perspective, I welcome the young ones. I find they are a joy to have, and it's beautiful to work the young ones with the older ones. And we have a number of young ones who we can see that our band will go on because they are there, they are committed. Some of them have taken the musical journey, some of them have not. They are studying different things, but there's a commitment. And when you have such a commitment from a young group of person, it augurs well for your organization.
Right. Do they put some pressure on the administration for like choice of tune or more excitement in the tune and things like that?
Well, they will have their opinion, but how we do for choice of tune, we have a chat group and players would give suggestions with which tune they would like to see play for Panorama 2023, and then that when they have a certain timeline and when they have given their suggestions, it will then be shortlisted by the musical committee, and then that shortlist is what we will now go and learn at verse and chorus. So yes, they have their input.
Many of those younger players would never have heard or even know who is Short Shirt. What have you all done to educate them of the history of this tune and its impact that it had on Trinidad in that year?
Well, first of all, what we have done, basically we play the tune for them, but we also let them know the history of that song. And in that particular year, the rule has changed that he could not have won the road match, that only a Trinidadian could. We also informed them that is Sylvania Eastside Symphony, known as Potential, had also played that tune in that Panorama. And quite coincidentally, we have one of our players, Andre Franco, who also played with Potential when they came second, I think it's by half a point in that particular Panorama. So we have shared whatever history about the song. We have sometimes on when the rehearsal is over, we'll play the song that they can get familiar. Also, on the chat, what we have done, we have given trivias so they can go and do research, and we give out prizes. We'll ask different questions about the song, about Short Shirt. So in that way, they are being enlightened about this song that most of them weren't born yet, but they are able to go and do their research, and they win lovely prizes in the chat. Whoever answers first will get lovely prizes. So during the week, we look for some sort of history to give to them, to a question on history. So that's where they are being informed.
Well, I never could forget the first time I heard that song. I remember it vividly. I was driving through St. James, and the song came over on my car radio. And I said, this is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. And this song is going to be big. It was the one and only time I heard it right there. And then I said, shh. Later on that year, I went to Antigua Carnival, and this song was still happening there. Anytime that song came on, Antigua came alive. I was blessed to see Short Shirt perform it on one of the beaches. He had a little hut on the beach. He used to come out and sing his songs free to anybody who willing to listen. There were so many people you couldn't even see the sand. But that song really, it was a big song.
And it is, Alvin, because as you said before, and that song is 46 years old, and none of the players would not be that age. But if you see how they respond to that song, it's amazing. That wine, 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 roll, roll, roll,
Yes.
roll. The melody is infectious.
Yeah,
and they
very
do
much
respond.
I think that it's a good thing that because the tradition had come in that it was almost like a sin for the large bands to play a vintage song. But to pull a song like that has so much to offer, and to treat it in a way that is what we would call current. I am really anxious to hear what the band is doing with it. I think I'm going to have to break a couple rules and come down to Trinidad for Carnival. You're exciting me already.
Very nice.
Tell us something about what your vision, what your assessment of where Panorama has reached today. Is it going in the right direction? Do you see some things that you would like changed? Talk to us about Panorama today as you see it and what effect it has on you.
I think Panorama is the epitome of the competition within the steel band world, and bands look forward to that time of the year within Carnival. But should we ask ourselves, is it enough? Is that all? Because I think that whilst it's a good thing, when you look at Pan beyond Panorama, is there really a rule for Panorama? That's a long discussion. So I'm on the fence, as I said before, because I see the need, the excitement at that time of the year, it brings income for band, it brings income for players. So there is a role that Panorama plays. And it's an important role because for bands and for the pan players, the tuners, the whole stakeholders that are involved in this Panorama season. But looking at steel pan, I think we also need more than Panorama. And I must give, I've seen over the last year or so, the current regime of PAN Trinbago is making that effort to make PAN all during the calendar year. So the focus is not just on Panorama. So Panorama has its role within the carnival season. I guess the steel band body has recognized that. And also PAN has a role outside of carnival, which is beyond Panorama. And they also have recognized that, and they are doing things to improve on that.
One of my ideas, and I feel should be added to the prize-winning band, is like a month-long tour of the world, funded by the government, if it has to be that. What are your thoughts about something like that? Do you think it would be a good measure?
It sounds nice, but I don't want to be a party pooper. A month-long tour, there are persons who are employed. I mean, we have to look at from that perspective. Will your organization give you that time off? So maybe a month long might be too long. I mean, but what's the purpose of a world tour? What are you going to expose your pan some more? So I mean, it's something like that you can look at, but then you have to look at all the other, what would influence or what will be, the players in the band, can they afford to go? What will they be losing out on if they should go on that tour? So these different factors. It might sound all nice at all. A tour always sounds nice, but we have to look at what are the consequences of doing a month-long tour, where gone are the days where people feel pan men don't work. People they are employed, gainfully employed, they are studying, children are studying. So it's just nice to say a month tour, but we have to look at the other bigger picture.
I think that's a great answer, because I think there's still the impression that a lot of pan men after Carnival, they have nothing to do, they're unemployed. And that is not the case with Exodus, maybe, but there are some bands, steel bands, that still have people who are so dependent on that period and then have nothing to offer themselves afterward. And if there was some way that you could continue it for them. And then I know that there are, over 140 players that you have to choose your 120 from. So some of those players might be those that not gainfully employed and could form the nucleus. But we're not talking about sending 120 people on tour. But
Alvin, when you touch points like that, it's the same thing I come back to, that it should. We talk about the music industry of Trinidad and Tobago. There's no music industry. We don't have an industry with a president, a CEO, and like a Petrotrin or anything like that. I think we have to come to that first to engage this kind of thing. Because right now, the question I would like to ask is, how do you replenish the band with new pans? The oil industry crumbled by the closure of Petrotrin, if I should make reference to. How do you guys attain pans when you need pans? We should be manufacturing pans at a mega scale, and all that would involve the employment of a lot of players who are not employed outside of the Panorama and thing. It's the same thing I've been saying. It has to be an everyday thing. It cannot. Carnival is just a season, and the Panorama competition, I have no problem with that. I have a problem with competition, but I have no problem with it in the Carnival based on the excitement it creates. But the continuity is what I always think about. How do we, as it is now with the oil industry, how it is we replenish steel pans? We don't have the kind of factory that can supply. If there's one factory in Trinidad that can supply all the bands, I'm happy, and I know that is a no-no. You understand? There are other elements of the steel pan who can make sticks, who can do the rubber work. It has a lot of things that can have pan as a mega industry, as part of the musical aspect of the culture of Trinidad and Tobago. So that is where I'm going to have the conversation after Panorama. What I want to ask Miss Julie is Exodus has a way of setting up for musical exposes like Panorama and the like. And I'm wondering if it aid with the acoustics, if it gives Exodus that extra quality of sound that will emanate from the band, especially in competitive times and even out of competition. That way the band sets up, you know, like an orchestra. You look at an orchestra with different levels, the saxophonists and they're on this level, the bass players at this level. And, you know, I was really blown away with that. I find that was nice. And then the way the band sound, the band has a crisp kind of sound that will grab your attention. Tell us about that setup thing and how it affects the acoustics and stuff.
So just a quick brief history. That setup came from when we performed in Barbados at the World Cricket Championship with over 200 band players, and then we brought it here. There's a debate that, you know, with all the covering that our song levels are different, but we have had that checked and our song levels are on the same, I'm not sure the technical terms, but on the same level with all the other bands that have their coverings. And that's where we got that setup from, because it has been a debate, I will tell you that, David, you know, people saying this and that, and as you know, our manager, he will not go on here say, so you have got the proper sound engineers, even some professors, some UV, to do the proper checks that at our setup with all those different other bands, that canopies that we have the same the decibels level. That's right. Yeah, the decibels are the same. It is a debate, and what we have done, you know, how we put it around, we get that same sound. I guess too, adding to our tuner, Mario will also enhance your sound. We have a good tuner, you know.
Right. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. Let me just interject on that question of the acoustics, because part of my engineering discipline, a lot of people don't know, I'm basically first an engineer and music is my second love. That I have had a lot of ideas about how we should be listening to Pan. And in fact, I witnessed something in Philadelphia, it was in England, a part of just outside Britain, Liverpool, right? In Liverpool, where they had an exposition in which Pan was being played. And what they did, they created a concrete strip against a mountain, literally, and carved out steps on the mountain up to a certain height, and then covered it with canvas. And the bands played, they wheeled in on the concrete, and so that all of the patrons, 5,000 of them, were above the level of the pan. There was no need to use a microphone. Everyone could hear, basically because the sound from the pan goes up, not down, as some people think. And the clarity was unbelievable. Any position you sat. And I kept thinking, why don't they do this in the Botanic Gardens against one of the hills that slope? Yeah. And you just put the band at the bottom level and they'd be able to have the greatest concert. They thought I was talking nonsense. But anyway, that's just an aside.
I tell you, we have to have a special conversation with people like Julie and the likes, because I'm very interested in what's happening. I'm a commentator. I'm very vocal about Pan not being where it should be. Likewise for Calypso and the rest. The soca artists are taking it to a different level because they are not in the crab and in the barrel kind of syndrome that I might be getting licks for that the Calypsonians find themselves in. But the soca artists, they have gone traveling and they have seen and are looking at ways of developing their performances when it comes to soca. But steel pan, I think that should be our main focus, because it belongs to us and we should be sharing with the world everything. Like Stalin said. Stalin sang a song about Mr. Pan Maker. There are lots of things we should be held in our secret recipes, like KFC and them have secret recipes, you know. We should have secret recipes that we must deliver quality pans. Same way we have Yamaha pianos and we have this and we have. Why can't we have a Bertie Marshall pan?
We have it already.
You know, we must have that.
But we have the special Bertie Marshall pans.
Well, good. We must have it. You and I might know that, Alvin. But
it's not marketed that way.
No. So you see, an industry will have different departments that will be responsible for the development of all the different spheres of steel pan, which I think is an industry that will bring in more money than any oil and gas would have beaten up with now. I've always said that. And I used to say that when the oil and gas done, let me see what they will do. So we're in that kind of precarious kind of situation now. And I'm sure that if the conversation will be taken to those in authority and they listen to people like Julie and you, Mr. Daniel, and the other people like Pelham and all these people, Trinidad will be a very exceptional place on the planet. You know? And that too will get rid of all the negativities about the young people. You know, they'll be too busy. There'll be too much to do. So I look forward to the development of Steel Pan at that level. And I am not qualified in any department, but the God has blessed me with ears to hear and to listen and to comment. You know, and I used to be hopping as a little boy when people go in parties. I used to be hopping from panya to panya to panya to panya to panya, just to hear who is doing what and what Bradley's doing. I remember Bradley doing picture on the wall. And when I interviewed him, I said, what next you going to do? He said, I'm going to color the picture. You know, that is a kind of statement that you will understand, Alvin. See, in other words,
well, you know, my first interjection with Bradley, they were playing sailing.
Yeah.
And I went to him and I said, I love your introduction. I am hearing water flowing. He said, well, I'll tell you what to go and play on your piano when you go home. I said, and whether you play it on a piano or sax or anything, you actually hear water flowing when you play the notes in that ring, as it were.
And the same implies to when Exodus gave us Dust in Your Face. That was an exceptional presentation, you know, Julie. I play it all the time. I have certain.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite arrangements.
I mean, you felt like you were in the savannah, breaks in with your rag by your nose and all kind of thing.
It's a beautiful arrangement.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to mention too, All Stars arrangement was so different from you all, but both arrangements were fantastic. In fact, I interviewed, I remember his name just now, who did the arrangement. And I said, that start you had with all of the bands sort of harmonized into a drop note. He said, that's when we kicked down the door. You know, you need these arrangers to tell you these things.
Yeah, and it will be beautiful to Alvin.
Interpreted the tune.
Yeah, now outside of Panorama, what I would love to see is the arrangers, the people who are heart and soul, and things like Julie and the others, come together in a committee that will drive the ideas and the level of taking Pan to another level, to the world. That because we are the creators, you know. People can mimic our stuff, but you see the creator, and the creator is all the dreams and ideas will emanate from the creator. And that's who we are. So it will be nice to see in the future that the competitive thing will be left for the savannah, for the Panorama, for the excitement of Carnival. But outside of that, Judy, you know what it is for minds like yours and the others to come together around a table and say, this is where Pan ought to be. The best of arrangers, the best of Pan tuners, the best of drill masters. Drill masters are very important parts of the steel band, you know. Without a very good drill master, you're in problems. You know? So I look forward to that and more. And I wish I could be part of our conversation anytime, Julie. Don't forget to ask Farid to connect with me, right? And,
No problem.
I want to say something else too. Farid, I want to congratulate you on one thing, especially because it's been an idea of mine. I'm thinking mainly of the large bands. Imagine a Panorama which is based on the fact that the television is an integral part of the competition from preliminary level. And that at preliminary level, they come to your panyard and an interview is done with the arranger, the manager, and so on as to the history of the band, the composition of the band, the choice of tune, why. And this is being seen by the whole nation.
And documented.
And documented. And when you go from the prelims to the semi-final, the interview is done on the drag before you go on stage.
All of that.
Then you say, what have you done with the tune between the prelims and this level? And what is going to happen when you reach on the stage? And they see the whole transition going onto the stage so that when you pick your final 10, people know the tune, they know the people, they know everything about the band. And that night, the whole world is watching Panorama. That's my dream.
That will be a beautiful dream because there are lots of income to be attained.
Oh, but I won't even go with the income because I've been trying to tell everybody that's where the money is.
I tell you, that is why we have to have a big conversation after Panorama about PAN, so that people don't feel, well, PAN is, the Trinbagonians too, we are so brainwashed with foreign stuff that we feel that Carnival is it. But we music and we culture, like I label my way of dealing with the thing is an all-year thing. Carnival is just a season. You know, they try to cram everything inside, and the players of all the different musical aspects of our culture, they rush for piece of the pie at that time, when we can have this thing from January the 1st to December the 31st in all different spheres. At the seaports, at the airports, we shouldn't be hearing foreign music. We should have a steel band that is being paid. If it's a rotation of bands that are being a stateside something, Carnival time, we give them a taste of what the PAN is for Carnival. When people come in, that should be an all year round thing. Instead of I coming in, imagine I'm from America or Sweden or somewhere, and I'm accustomed to that kind of pop and alternative music. And when I come to Trinidad, the land of steel band and calypso and steel band, I'm hearing the same thing. I didn't come here for that. I came here to get into Trini culture. And it's about time the authorities understand the power of PAN, calypso, soca, limbo, all the different, we are very special on this planet. And Julie, I would like to see us make this a mega industry so that the youths who have nothing to do will get into some different department or avenue or whatever you want to say, and keep them out of this negative crime kind of stupidness that is going on right now. And I know the power of PAN can do that.
How old is your daughter, Judy?
I have one comment to make, David.
Yeah.
With respect where you say you want the PAN throughout the year, I just want to add that when bands who have stateside, they play PAN, we play PAN throughout the year. And in this year particular, we have had many gigs at the airport. So I'm just saying, whilst it may just be a seedling, it is still a start. So the bands, and that's a different, even a wider conversation.
Yeah.
And the more of the bands who have stateside, they are the ones to me who keep the steel band flying beyond the Panorama.
That's right.
And there are a number of bands who are just operational for Panorama. And to me, the bands that who go beyond the Panorama season is the ones that really keep the flag flying, as I just said. And maybe what should be done is more bands should evolve into not just looking for the Panorama dollar, but for the continuity throughout the season.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I quite agree.
I
Alvin?
don't even know how old your daughter is that plays PAN.
My daughter, she was 19 in December.
Did you introduce her to the PAN, or did she ask to come into the PAN?
Well, my both children play, as a matter of fact. Two of my three children play. They in the PAN yard with their mother. And it's a natural progression. They both play very well. They both can play any PAN, but in Exodus PAN, there are a number of mothers and daughters, fathers and sons that are playing PAN together at this time.
Beautiful.
So it's a kind of continuity. We have a lot of that we know. We have Steve Darko Spear and his children play. We have Natasha and her daughter. So that and they and I know of all of them coming with their parents small, and they see them behind that PAN, ping pong, and then they just flow with it.
Well, I have a little story for you. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I was looking for some extracurricular activities for her. So I found a place with a variety of things: song, dance, voice, and then. So I said, "You want to go there?" She said, "Yes, I would go." I said, "Well, go through it and choose which one you want." She said, "I'm chosen the steel PAN." And I did not point her to it. So that is a little something.
Yes.
So I might have a PAN player.
I have a grandson too, who is very academic. And I used to say, Dr. Job used to tell me, let him learn to play an instrument and he'll be better at his academia and stuff. So I tried all kind of thing, and he walls into the PAN too. He plays with Sun City. As a matter of fact, the prelims are on tonight, and I support him 200%. So from here, I'm heading down there full speed. Yeah, to let him see that I'm there for him, and he's excited. It blows my mind, because he never looked like a guy who would play pan, but he chose that on his own. So there's a future for it, and there's continuity.
And just to add to, we also have the Executive School that we run on a Saturday. Yeah. We have over 100 children from ages from 5 to 21. And I must say, at the current time, we have like about 4 students who were from Executive who are now like assistant tutors. Ilori, Adia, Jacoila, even my daughter, they were once Executives. And they know our tutors in the Executives. So
tell me something, Julie. Julie, you, I know for sure that PAN helps with these children and their intelligence and academia and stuff. Can you underscore that for me?
Yes. Okay. I will give examples of Ilori Race and Drake Williams. From primary school to now, they have never stopped playing PAN. The both of them are in their first year university. Ilori is doing biochem, and Drake is doing she's doing a double major in biochem, and Drake is doing a major in linguistics and a minor in Spanish. We have Adia who came in and she's doing a degree in UTT. I'm saying these children have not stopped playing PAN. You know, they say parents take you out for SCA. No, they play. They read Form 5, they play for CXC. They did 6th form, they play. They go in UE and they are still playing PAN.
Yes, I appreciate that. Julie and Mr. Alvin, we just have about four more minutes. Yes. We have no more jerseys to change.
and Farid, I love
we wondering if you have any children to play PAN too.
But this is a wonderful conversation that
thank you so much.
Well, the bosses here, they know me. They know I'm total local. You know, much time they say, boy, follow the we go in old school disco and thing. I say, well, they've already going old school, so I stayed in the thing. So I'm heart and soul. So after the carnival, I'm going to get your numbers and I'm going to invite you guys when you're all rested and stuff, so that we'll have a conversation that will impact on the heads in the ministry at this and at that level. It's about time we talk the talk and walk the walk, so that Trinidad and Tobago can truly be seen as the Mecca and the land of Calypso and Steel Pan. So I will throw that invitation down the road.
I just want to mention, after Carnival, we have what we call companions, where we have over 20 steel band that, after all the intense competition, I along with David and Al, organize that, where steel bands take part in different activities, sporting activities, and it ends on the 31st of May, in the arrival day, with a big sports and family day.
Good. Excellent. Good. You must send that kind of information so I can be the lip.
Yes, I will. I will send via Farid. I have Farid.
Yes. Great. And Farid, you'll pass it on to me. But I
have a question. I have a question for you. So often it's said that through the preliminaries into the semi-final and the final, the judges would have their comments that the band would be well aware of in terms of the judges' interpretation of your music and so on. How much pressure do you all as musicians, and I'm speaking clearly to you in terms of Exodus, feel pressured into equipping changes to your music to suit the judge and suit the judging aspect of it? Meaning that by the time you get to a Panorama final night, Booksy Sharp had once said that you're basically playing for the judges. What sort of pressure do you all feel, and what's your interpretation of that? Do you all feel that, you musically you have to sacrifice music for the competition, or you hold to your position in terms of how you interpret the music?
Well, I will endorse Mr. Sharp's statement. You are playing for the judges. The objective of this competition is to win Panorama, and who will decide that are the judges. So therefore, if they give you comments, the onus is on you to go with those comments, because those comments, when you adhere to them, they will affect your score. So it will be wise for you to go along with what they say, because remember, each time they are marking you, they are looking for what you have improved on or for what they have suggested. So from where you sit, based on a competition perspective, it is wise to adhere to their comments.
Mm-hmm. Because they have a criteria in place.
Final point from me.
Yes, Alvin.
Clive Bradley told me once that after playing at the preliminaries and he was placed about 8th or 9th, we went into the semi-finals with the entire arrangement exactly the way he played in preliminaries. And the comment from most of the judges was, you have listened to us, and it is a fantastic developmental work that you have done. I leave you all with that one.
Thank you so much, Alvin. Julie, anything you want to say in closing?
No, just thank you, gentlemen, for having us. Thank you for your support and passion of the steel band, and we look forward that our culture can go beyond and beyond and up to the whole entire global we live in world.
Thank you, darling. I will keep my promise and invite you guys after Carnival. Alvin, you included, because your intelligence and knowledge is
once you call David, and I have to add Farid to my list now. Not easy.
Yeah. Farid, we got to go to the news.
Yeah. Thanks for everything, everyone. Blessings to you, Mr. Daniel and Julie. We look forward to hearing from all of you all moving forward. And Mr. Daniel, we'll have you again. We need your technical knowledge of the steel band and music.
Yes.
So enjoy the rest of the evening. And David,
be safe and keep taking care of yourself as I'm seeing from this point. We'll meet soon.
Yeah, God bless me with that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Okay, we go straight to the news. Sparkle is here.